AFC South now up for this week, and this is the last of the AFC team mock drafts. We will be doing 7 rounds like always. We're going to start off with the Jaguars because we think this is going to be the most fun. They have a lot of picks left. Tyler, we got our final division. How are you feeling?
Awesome. Very excited to knock this out. Start with the Jaguars. A very interesting team to draft for. So excited.
For sure. So I think obviously we're not going to trade up because it already passed. We have, if you've followed along, we've experimented with the idea of trading up. I don't think it's out of the reach. We'll go over the team needs here: cornerback, outside linebacker, D tackle, a quarterback, and then maybe experiment with receiver if we get good value in the second or third, because they do have a lot of receivers, but they're not the greatest here. So we come to this pick. What are you looking at here?
I mean, it's a team that needs a lot. They cleared house, which is fine. They still need offensive line still. So when I look at this pick and I look at kind of what values are lining up for me, I don't have Brown. I don't have Okuda. I don't have Simmons. Chase Young will not be there anyways. So I see zero reason for them to go for one of those elite defensive players and just go ahead and take offensive line, because whoever quarterback you run with this upcoming year, you got to be able to protect them, and you're not going to be able to do that without a solid foundation. My move is Tristan Wirfs.
Yeah, I think that's a huge steal at 9. It could easily be there. The only other guy I would maybe take would be C.J. Henderson, just to replace Jalen Ramsey. But there's lots of corners we can work in here. Yeah. So I'm not gonna let Wirfs fall. I could easily see a Judy come this pick in the normal draft, or CeeDee Lamb, whoever's available. CeeDee Lamb even there. Yeah, he is there. So they definitely could go receiver, like we said. They just got a lot of guys locked up for a long time on good contracts, so they don't really need to necessarily mess with that quite yet, I don't think. So we'll just get it going down here. We pick back again at 20. I think this is where we're going to need to go best defense. They did need an outside linebacker, if I remember right. And I feel like I know they need a corner, but I feel like Chase on at that pick is a good value. I was kind of hoping that C.J. Henderson would fall back to us. Are you thinking we go Chase on or maybe our next highest corner?
Yeah, in an ideal situation where this board actually looks like this, I do not believe it will. Jedrick Wills is the easy pick, and I think it's why you went right past it, is we know he won't be here. There's no way in hell he'll be here at the 20 pick. If he is, though, I'm going to stack offensive line. But we're going to play it like he isn't here, and I like Jason a lot. Kind of get your Calais replacement. It won't be that replacement at all, but you'll get someone to at least play the position for you who's quite talented. I think Jason's definitely worthy of a first pick, and definitely go here with the Jaguars.
I agree. And yeah, we use this website too, if people are wondering. It just runs a lot faster, and the trades seem to be, I don't want to say realistic, because it's not like we've ever tried to trade in an NFL GM standpoint, but we just feel like it's the draft network. It just can be kind of buggy sometimes. So we use this just to get kind of a feel for what's going to be here. And they do pick kind of early in the second round. I mean, right around pick 9 here. We see some good value here. We got our one, I say tackle, but Wirfs can easily play the guard too. They've had him mocked there a couple times. They'll maybe switch over. So I don't mind the pick here. Ruiz is, I guess what I'm trying to say is Ruiz is here, but I don't think we need to revisit that. A.J. Terrell staring me down here. I think that's an easy pick. We could also double up on outside linebacker with an Uche or Bond, but I think Terrell would have to be the pick here for me.
Yeah, again, I don't even think Ruiz will be here. In all honesty, he may not even be out of the first round. I mean, he is climbing up stocks-wise. Terrell is still a really great corner that I definitely could see Jaguars getting a lot of value out of here in the second round. I really like that pick.
Yeah, I think it's tough for me to gauge if he really can be a cornerback one at the next level, because obviously he was at Clemson, but it's like watching him, you see traits where he could be, but then you see plays where you're like, oh, no way. Like, no way that's going to transfer over to the NFL. I guess that's what separates him from like a Gladney or a Fulton, or even, I don't want to compare C.J. Henderson, because I think C.J. Henderson so far, I think there's it's a tier of Okuda. C.J. Henderson, I think, is a huge drop-off. I like Gladney, but I think he's not going to be a true corner. He's more of a press the man coverage, press him at the line, and then you got to have some help over the top here. So now we come back down here. Couple guys here that actually would make a lot of sense to me. I see Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I know you don't like him. We don't have to take him here because I don't think they're going to take a running back this high. But I don't want to put that out of the possibilities, because this team is rebuilding. Leonard Fournette is a free agent next year. I doubt they'll pay him. As much as they used him last year, they can easily replace what they did with him. Jeremy Chin is here. I'm not for sure. I always got to look back. D tackle. Maybe we revisit the corner here again. So let's look at corner just to see if anybody like really, really good actually fell here. David Arnett did fall. So did Bryce Hall, Cam Dantzler. I'm gonna see when we pick next for
Yeah, I mean, looking at what's on the board, Roquan Davis is there. I really like him out of Alabama. Around this value is right where I'd be willing to take him. And then the other is Tyler Biotis of Wisconsin. That's another offensive lineman that maybe they're just gonna stack that offensive line and just see what they can do, working some pieces around. I love doing that in drafts. I love taking as much offensive lineman as possible because some will pan out and some won't, and you know that. But make sure you have enough in case some don't to still help your team out. So I'm between Roquan Davis and Tyler Biotis. I think we can go with Davis and feel safe about
Yeah,
the tackle.
I agree. D tackle's the move here. Their O line is pretty good. Obviously they're for as bad as they were last year, they still produced good numbers in terms of like yards per carry and passing attempts completed. All the stuff you look for to some successful team here. Come back down here. I think we should maybe look at corner because there is that was the drop off. Usually there's a big drop off down here. There's still a couple guys like OJ Moutier down here that I like. They're kind of wiped at corner, but I feel like if it's a bigger need, they really would address it at CJ Henderson at 9 here. So we're just gonna go to all and see if we can get best available here.
I would look at the tight end position. I know it's kind of crazy. We haven't really taken a tight end yet, but this is a team without one. Ooh,
Hunter Bryant, baby.
I really like that, and I'll I'll tell you Jaguars fans why. You guys haven't had a great tight end in forever, if you've ever had one. You can rely on Hunter Bryant in the pass catching. You're giving Gardner an actual piece in the receiving game, which is key. I still think Shark is developing, and you have a few other pieces there that can grow. You get Hunter Bryant there. You get a solid tight end that I think you'll get more value out of Hunter Bryant than you will of the wide receivers that are still available. And you get a little bit of pass blocking. It's not great. Hunter Bryant's a receiver more than anything, but you still get a little bit of that run stopping. I really like the Hunter Bryant pick. We haven't picked any tight end yet in all of our mocks, and this is a great spot for him to go.
I agree. They did get Tyler Eifert to a 2-year deal, but obviously we know how his track record's been. They took Josh Oliver last year, but I really like the Hunter Bryant pick. I don't even know if I classify him as a tight end. I was watching more film yesterday because I'm doing the write-up for the draft guide right now. To me, he's what Taysom Hill. He's an athletic Taysom Hill role. Is what he played at Washington. He played outside. He didn't play quarterback, but he played fullback. He played I don't even know when they line up like sort of behind the tackle, whatever you want to call that. He played slot. He played running back. He took end around. So I really like that pick. I'm hoping he goes higher than this in the real draft because I know we both love him. He's both of our tight end ones. At least mine. I'm pretty sure yours. Just because of his versatility. We don't do a ton of film or breakdown on tight ends because it's tough. Because when you come to the next level, you don't really know. I mean, think about this. Like Noah Fant, downfield stretcher. Okay, that's very subjective to that team. Travis Kelce is literally the wide receiver 1. He gets wide receiver 1 targets, production, touchdown, red zone looks. But then you look at a team like the Saints, like I mentioned. Jared Cook strictly plays over the top, and Taysom Hill is their gadget guy. So it varies depending on teams. And I think that would be a huge addition because, like we said, DJ Chark, I don't need to give a full breakdown on how I feel about him. He's just not a wide receiver 1 long term. He's more of a 2 or a 1A, 1B. So I really like that pick here. We got 2 kind of back-to-back picks here. I think we should address the receiver before maybe he gets taken. I see AGG here. I think it's a solid pick to bank on upside here. They have a lot of middle round picks to work with. I think DJ Chark, like we said, is a good receiver. You kind of have that D.D. Westbrook and Keelan Cole sort of wide receiver 2, 3-ish combo. Maybe. I don't really know how I feel about them. But AGG, I think, would just bring with Hunter Bryant, just another dynamic to this offense that they haven't really had for a long time. I also really like James Prochet down there, and we like Joe Reed down there too. So what are you thinking here?
I just don't know if I go wide receiver yet. I mean, we did get Hunter Bryant. You got a receiving target. You can get a guy at least a little bit later. I mean, their cornerback's still an issue. I don't know if we can get the value there. Goodness. I mean, again, guys, we get to this point where we're kind of in a hole. Lavert Hill he's pretty good, but I don't know if I roll with him. I mean, you could look at running backs. I mean, I like Keyshawn Vaughn a ton. Antonio Gibson, you got a versatile guy, but I feel like you kind of got that not the exact replica, but you kind of got that versatility player in Hunter Bryant. Darrington Evans has a lot of speed, and that would be a great counter to what Leonard Fournette's doing. He ran a 4.41 at the combine. I mean, so he has that really impressive speed. And out of Appalachian State, not getting a lot of hype, not getting a lot of talk at all. But I still like him as a back. But I'm not really sure here where I want to go.
Yeah, I actually just did my write up on Darrington Evans, and I really like him a lot. I have McFarland ranked higher just because I think McFarland saw better competition, and teams are going to value that a little bit higher. So if we were to pick a running back, as much as I like Vaughn, they have their Vaughn with Leonard Fournette, so it's not really something they're looking at. I think it'd be McFarland or Gibson. Gibson could slide out, and eventually, I haven't looked too in depth at the contracts of the Jags receivers, like if they have outs or whatever the whole situation arises with that coming up here. But I think Gibson or McFarland would be the pick here. I think since we got our Hunter Bryant, I think I'm going to go McFarland. I think that'd be a beautiful off-pace back for Leonard Fournette, because you saw at the beginning of the year, like if you think back to that Titans Thursday night game, how like Leonard Fournette, I think he had like 17 rushing yards and like 16 carries. Just because it's such a monotonous running back. They didn't have that off-pace guy. They had Raquel Armstead, but I think he's just another Leonard Fournette to me, just kind of the way they run. So I'm going to go McFarland here. I think that'd be awesome. Even if you give him 8 to 10 touches a game, that's still a lot. But I think even if you gave him that, I think that'd be just super beneficial to that offense. Because if you are going with Gardner Minshew, which we should probably actually look at quarterback, if you are going with Gardner Minshew, you need to get that offense stepping up here. So we can double down on the Washington State guys, and I actually kind of like that, just to be a little different. I mean, I think they are going to draft a quarterback. It could be earlier. They could easily go for an Eason. They could easily go for a Hurts guy. They have so many picks. Like we're probably not even halfway done. I kind of like that Anthony Gordon pick. I think the only other guy we could maybe take, I know we did our quarterback matchmaker. I put Cole McDonald there just to kind of be different, have a little fun with it. So how do you feel about Anthony Gordon at this pick? Something that you wouldn't think an NFL team would do is stack up teammates, but it might help. It might help both of them, honestly.
Yeah, well, I think Gordon's second year last year. I mean, he was a transfer in too. I mean, everyone that Mike Leach plays with is just transfer quarterbacks that didn't get opportunity. But it's obviously effective for him. Anthony Gordon is my quarterback 6. That is really, really high for a guy who is going to go this late. I believe in his talent. I think he was a better Gardner Minshew in college. I just think it works. In all honesty, I really love Anthony Gordon. Do we need to cover it? I mean, maybe. I don't know though. I mean, that whole quarterback situation is kind of a mess. That if we wait this late, I don't know if I would pull that trigger. I don't know if they would. So looking at corner, I mean, Lavert Hill is still there. I mean, I like him. Either way, they've got to get a few guys. If you want to go Mugier, that's fine too.
Yeah, I like Ojemudia just as like that cornerback 3 in the NFL. I think a team's going to get a really good value on him because you're not going to, even if you're really cornerback needy team, I think teams know what they can get with him where maybe other corners might not know at this round. So I'm going to go ahead and take him. I get the whole, we can maybe see who falls with here. I think we do need to get a receiver eventually to maybe add some competition in that offense. We got an outside linebacker in Chase on, but he's more of a, I mean, I don't know if he can really move into the inside, I guess, which I don't know if they need a lot of inside movement, but we can just kind of see who's available here. They do need a D tackle. I just didn't see much here.
Well, we did get Roquan, so
that's true.
I mean,
Let's see.
We're fine with what's best here. Yeah, Joe Reed's still there. I really like him a lot. At the wide receiver position, there's a few good plays here. Tiki Thurmock. I mean, Anthony Gordon's still there. If you want to go with the quarterback. Wow, they have a lot of these late picks.
Yeah, I think let's go Gordon just because he's the best available, kind of in terms of like what we can see as potential NFL starters, and I kind of like that competition aspect there. Antonio Gibson's still there. I don't know if they would double. I mean, it's tough because like they could easily view him as a receiver and just go ahead and play him at the receiver spot. So I don't like mind that pick, and they would easily have an out with Fournette with the combination of Armstead, McFarland, and Gibson. And as much as that doesn't seem like it'd be very effective in the NFL, like, why not? That's what the Ravens do. They run Gus Edwards, Mark Ingram, Justice Hill, 3 tight ends. They have an unconventional offense, and it kind of works. I do like that pick a lot because I think his talent and his versatility is so unique that it's a superior value here. I don't know how you feel about it, though.
Yeah, I mean, again, you play a lot of different positions, so it would be what the Jaguars would be willing to do with him. I wouldn't hate it. I would more or less go for a more true receiver for them, but I could get around it. I mean, when I'm looking at true receivers there, I mean, Cephas, Joe Reed on the outside. Depends what you want to cover for your offense. Do you want to cover the slot guy? Do you want to cover the outside? Those are my 2 guys, and then Patman and Tyree Cleveland are pretty close to Cephas. I think Joe Reed is just a bit better than all of them. But kind of looking at where things are stacking up, do you go with the outside receivers or do you go with Cephas and play the slot role? That's more of a preference for Jacksonville. Looking at what they have, I think Chark can definitely move inside. I don't even think Keanu Cole is an actual legit NFL wide receiver, more or less just forcing the targets. So I guess I would be looking at Joe Reed for the outside kind of threat. But it depends. Where would you be looking at?
Yeah, like you said, it's tough. I didn't notice it, but Davion Taylor still is there. He has kind of caught my eye. There's not a scouting report on here, but he's just kind of caught my eye as of late. They do need an outside linebacker. They got Chase on, but they could always use depth. He's just kind of I don't know. He's kind of like one of those. He reminds me of the Broncos linebacker, that kind of Alexander Johnson, kind of in the way they play. You might not know who that is, but he kind of broke out last year, broke out at age 27, so a little bit too late. But just kind of the way they play, just a tough player. So I kind of like that pick here because, I mean, we don't really need a reach. We have a ton of later round picks. I think I'm gonna head that way to kind of shore up that sort of outside linebacker position, and we can kind of revisit receiver or just playmakers, however you want to talk about it. They could easily just switch their whole offense to just a bunch of playmakers, and as much as that seems unconventional, it could easily work here. So we're back up here. That J.R. Reed, the guy you like, is still there. I don't know if they necessarily need a safety, but depth never can hurt you. We can go back to the receivers. We still have, Joe Reed went, but we still have Tyree Cleveland, Desmond Patton, Quez Watkins. Even go down here to one of the Rhode Island guys, Lawrence Cager. It's not a position I don't think they need to reach on. I think it needs to be a first through third round pick because, like I said, they don't necessarily need it, but it could definitely be an upgrade if they. They could take CeeDee Lamb at 9. No one would argue the pick just because he's such a good player. I kind of like that J.R. Reed pick here. I don't know how big he is. Could he kind of move down into like that overhang linebacker spot? I don't know if the defense they run necessarily, but
again, he's a good run stopping coming for the box safety. I don't want to compare him to Harrison Smith, but most people know who Harrison Smith is. That's kind of the style of it. Big hit and climbs in the pocket and stops the run. So that's kind of the style of him. He's not Harrison Smith, so don't blow me up in the comments quite yet. But that's kind of the style of how he plays. So, I mean, that could be effective for Jacksonville. Again, the run defense wasn't phenomenal, but none of the parts of the defense was phenomenal last year. I think Jerry could be a fun pick. And again, you're just going for pieces that could genuinely help your team, and I think that piece can.
I agree. So after this pick win, we have 2 more. So we should probably revisit the cornerback situation because they do need depth. They shipped off literally everyone. But yeah, I think it's just a talented pick that can play multiple positions all over the place. So I like that a lot. Come down here to corner. Julian Blackmon still is there. I don't really know how I feel about him. Him and Jalen Johnson are tough to kind of gauge just because it's kind of like when you're trying to evaluate how good like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Joe Burrow is, just because like their season was so like just not what normally happens for Utah. You don't think Utah's the top defense in the nation, but they were last year. So Blackmon wouldn't be a bad pick here if they do believe in him. I just don't see much other value, and we probably should get him another Reggie Robinson, but we probably should get them another bit of cornerback help because this team is shipped off everyone, like I said.
Yeah, challenging. I think I'd take the risk on Blackmon. just hope he pans out. You got to get someone. So I would openly take that risk. And again, you have so many picks at this back end. You're just hoping any of them will stick. And I'd be okay trying to see if that would work.
For sure. So now we got the last pick here. I mean, just best available, really. I'm just trying to see if there's any defensive help maybe that could help him. Like a Sage Lewis is there. He's, I don't know, up in the air, kind of how people feel about him. We can go to the receiver here. Desmond Patton's not a bad pick in my eyes. See if there's any O-line, because it's always good to get. Like Trey Adams is there.
Yeah.
We kind of been taking him a lot. Yeah, I'm just trying to see if there's any like clear. Nick Coe, obviously we take him all the time. They don't really need any edge rushers though. It's kind of the thing that's their defense. That front seven's so good. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe go to receiver. I mean, I think Chark will probably stay on the outside for now because Dede kind of plays that slot. But obviously, Dede's contract I think is up in a year or two, and he's just kind of safe. So maybe they try and go for a splash guy that can maybe just be a burner or just a very solid slot receiver. We haven't really taken the Rhode Island guys. I know Jeff Thomas is super fast. I mean, it's Juwan Jennings, yes, but he's just there's got to be a reason why he's all the way down there. People were talking about him before the Senior Bowl. I mean,
it's the terrible quarterback situation. I feel bad for him, and it's just I don't know. That's the thing is, are we gonna play Guantanamo Bay and the Tennessee quarterback was just a mess. So are we gonna say that he was the issue, or are we gonna say that maybe the receivers didn't help him out that much? So I don't know if I want to play with that. Let's play with fire. I think going with Patman's a good safe play, and Patman played with Minshew, so why not go ahead and just try and roll with that? You're getting a familiarity and a receiver, and this late, that's kind of what you're looking for. And I'm plenty okay grabbing that piece there, that value. I mean, I was thinking about taking him a couple picks earlier, so I think it's a great class that we were able to put together here.
Yeah, I mean, they have, like we said, just a shit ton of picks. So we got Tristan Wirfs, just a clear value pick there. I mean, ultimately, when it comes down to it, I think they might favor Henderson more, but this is. I don't want to say it's what we would do, but we kind of just like to build this team as if we are building the team. Chase on at 20, if he's there, that's a no-brainer for him. It's position of need, great talent. Terrell, good pick. I think pairing him and Ojemudia and Blackman, like you got to have something out of that. Like something's got to come out of that in terms of restructuring that cornerback crew for the long haul. Raekwon Davis, he's sort of falling down boards, so I think I don't know if 73 is where he's going to go, but a lot of guys are kind of stepping up over him, like Matabuke, obviously Kinlaw, even Neville Gallimore. So that's kind of, I don't know, good value to us, but it might not become real draft time. Hunter Bryant, we love Hunter Bryant. Versatility through the roof, solid pick there. McFarland, I really like him. Good off pace for Leonard Fournette. Ojemudia, like we just said, it's just a good sort of cornerback 3. Got a little fun with the Washington State with Anthony Gordon and Desmond Patton. Maybe Anthony Gordon and Desmond Patton take over that offense with DJ Chark. That'd be kind of fun. Davion Taylor and J.R. Reed. Just solid depth plays there. Overall, what are you thinking before we get out of here?
Solid team. We covered a lot of bases that they needed to cover, and then we were able to get some pieces that maybe could actually provide value with those very, very late round picks. You established your line on both sides. You got your cornerbacks. You could have established it a little harder. That we did get 3. We could have gone a little bit further and grabbed more elite pieces earlier. We didn't. We went a different route, and we just went for let's get as many pieces to fill needs as possible before we start doubling down. And I think that's okay. I think we put together a team that can provide upside for Jacksonville, and they're still not going to be amazing. They won't. They're not going to be a team that's ready to go for a playoff hunt this year, but we are building their foundation back, and I think that was the whole goal of this draft, and I think we did that pretty well.
For sure, I agree too. So now next up, I'm not even going to say next up because I don't even know the schedule. I say this every single time, and I always find myself saying it. So we got the rest of the AFC South. It'll be the first 2 days of this week. I think we have the NFC starting. Then one more week. No. The following week is draft week. So we have the NFC finishing up. We have a cool episode coming out the Monday of draft week. Sort of like a live. It's not going to be live, but to us, we're going to be doing it live and then editing it afterwards, obviously. Live draft. We're each taking divisions. We're going to be doing trades within that. Not necessarily on like a PFN or a TDN, but like maybe an Excel sheet or something. That'll be kind of fun. We're going to have a Discord mock. the day of the draft, us recapping that. We're not going to make any picks if possible. We're hoping to get everybody filled in with that. So then down below is the Discord link. Go get in that. Lots of stuff coming April 26th, as you already know. Our rookie draft guide will be out. Will be free for you to dominate your rookie draft. So get in that Discord link down below. That's where we kind of update everything. A lot of good stuff going on for Tyler and Lucas. See you next time.